Welcome back to another edition of Deer Season 21 right here on DoD TV. You haven't seen too much of me here on Deer Season 21 since I was in Kansas. Well, that's because I'm having a tough season. We're on a new lease. Landowner killed a giant there early season, and we've grinded it out. We've sat there, I think, 18 times. We've only had 2 or 3 encounters to talk about. Deer have just been very nocturnal. We've been fighting it with the moon and the warm temperatures in October, but we're at it nonetheless. What we're gonna see in this episode of Deer Season 21, we're headed to Kansas with the Thurstons. Cody's self-filming on a very windy day, and then we got contact with Mr. Dan Thurston himself. Can't wait to see it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Deer Season 21.
Okay, here it is, 2021. We got a new 80-acre lease that we're pretty pumped about. We got the biologic food plot in, scrape tree in the middle of the field, and just waiting until the time's right. I was mostly focusing on filming my dad at this particular spot, but he couldn't hunt for a few days. Our reconnaissance cameras were going off. They were piling in that biologic field. So I went in there and got after it. Just a little bit of rain and about 40-mile-an-hour gusts. But hey, can't kill them on the couch. We're getting after them. Self-filming, October 28th. Here we go.
We had 4 or 5 does come out, an 8-point, not sure how old he is. They fed for about 5 minutes and now they just went back in. I can still see them. They're just right inside the timber. It's a good sign.
We're trying to get after a deer named Bubba. He's a giant body. He looks like a cow. He's just an 8-point. We've got a deer in there called Too Tall. He's a 3 or 4-year-old. Gonna be a giant hopefully someday. So it was Bubba or pretty much it. The first evening set by myself on the new lease, had 2 great bucks come in. I came to full draw on Bubba, but self-filming, it just kind of, you know, it saved that deer's life that evening.
Saw 3 pretty good bucks tonight. Self-filming saved them all.
So that great sit from the night before, I knew where I was going the next day. The wind was still howling 20 mile an hour, so I went in there and got after it.
We got a great on DeerCast tonight, and we had a great sit last night. So they're out cruising for sure. So we're gonna give them a doe to inspect.
All the deer and the bucks seemed to come out and stay on the one side of the field. So I said, well, you know, what if I bring a doe decoy in and put it on the other side of the field? So they've got to walk through the biologic plot in front of me to get the decoy.
Give her some doe and estrus. Biologic plot out in front of us. Last night, we had great activity. 4-year-old that's gonna be a hammer next year. He showed up first, and then Bubba, giant body deer, just not much of a rack. I got the doe decoy out here. It helps a little bit to have a stationary something, whether it be a scrape tree or a decoy when you're self-filming.
20, 30 mile an hour winds. I got the decoy out there, it blows over. I gotta walk back out, put it back up. You know, always thinking, hey, is this worth it?
I just hope that's the last time. Got a few does just came in. Big boys aren't like that, to be honest. Well, anytime a coyote comes in, your deer hunt turns into a coyote hunt. I'm not sure what to do. But he's a shooter.
The new 8-point showed up, did a bunch of rutting, scraping, herded does back in the timber, and out pops Too Tall, a couple 100 yards away. Once he gets close enough, Too Tall being 3 or 4, although got a bigger headgear, he didn't want anything to do with him. So he shies away. The new Mystery 8 funnels back into the field. I mean, just all rutted up, scraping the ground. I mean, he was just fired up. I thought it was a perfect shot, but once you see the deer jump and extend his body, you can see that it is far back. Immediately reviewed DeerCast track and confirmed that it was a liver and stomach.
I'm gonna go get the arrow before it gets dark. Go back to the lodge, review DeerCast, the track, and we'll get back to it.
So we waited the correct amount of time, came back in the next morning, called in my buddy Jimmy with his bloodhound Red Dog.
Well, it's the day after I just shot this 5-year-old 8-point, found the arrow, looks like liver blood. Looked at DeerCast track, it said, you know, wait for a while, so that's what we're doing. And we're gonna go after him this morning.
He's fired up.
He gets real protective.
Look at this food plot. We're back to the scene of the crime.
We found blood for about 100 yards and then it just diminished. Literally just diminished. We were on our hands and knees trying to find some more blood, and it was non-existent.
Well, we went about 250 yards. So far, nothing.
Walked a big loop and walked and walked. The grass was so thick, we couldn't see him, but stumbled upon him. Okay, here it is the next day. Looked at DeerCast track, and you know, I thought it was a smash home run hit, but as you can see, when he extended his body, it was a far back. We got in the liver and the stomach. Instead of pushing him, we looked at DeerCast track, talked to Mark on the phone, waited, came back this morning. Thankfully, I had a good group of friends that came and helped me. We let him set overnight, and we found him today, thankfully. So, big 8-point, just showed up out of the blue, munching on that biologic patch. They just couldn't get enough. So a new lease we just picked up, just 80 acres, but it is the 80 acres. And we're just lucky to have the opportunity to be able to chase them with our friends and family.
It's November 4th, sweet November. Today we've got a special outing, I guess you'd call it. A good friend of ours I met through hunting, Shane, he lives in Texas, but he owns some ground right here near us, and I met him through my food plot work. He was nice enough to invite us to hunt one of his deer today because he's already tagged out. He calls the deer Dozer is what he calls it, because it's always rubbing around and pushing stuff. And so we're gonna go chase Dozer with good friend Shane. Nice place. Hey, mister.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, thanks for the invite, man.
Yes, sir. Well, I've had this deer ever since I got this place about 3 years ago. He showed up on camera, and I was guessing he was about a 5.5-year-old at that time. He was
wow.
Huge body, you know, a rack just like that.
I call them bully bucks, yeah?
Yeah, he was already a mature buck, so 3 years later, here we are, and he's kind of going downhill a little bit, but he's still a big bulldozer. I call him Dozer. So.
Yeah, Dozer. Well, you know, they can be, when they get old like that, they can run everybody else out, and the up-and-comers just don't hang around, so this might be a good thing.
That's it.
He's letting us use his golf cart, and he's going to cook for us. I mean, really? Come on. It's a full meal package here.
Hey, go get them, boys.
All right, man.
Dad's ready to rock. He's ready. He's got the Mission Sub 1 ready to go, dialed in. I really owe it to him, everything he's done for me throughout the years to, you know, film him and, you know, get him on a deer every year. We met up with Shane, showed us where to go, had a lot of activity down in that bottom. All of his setups are pretty close. He actually recurve hunts, so we were in pretty tight quarters, but still pretty positive about being able to get it done. It's an old man hunting an old buck.
He's taken a wooden fence post, buried it, and it's like a community rub, man. Everybody's at it. Looks like an hourglass is starting to. Cody and I are at it once again.
I don't know what if it's him or not. That's a good buck.
I look in the timber about 100 yards out, I'm like, that's gotta be him, because there's a huge body. It turned out to be a big 10, and he actually has a doe back in there, and he's just raking and raking and raking this tree. I sent him video of the deer, and I'm like, do you know this deer? Because we didn't want to shoot any deer that he didn't give us the go-ahead on. And he said he didn't recognize him. If you think he's old, you guys got the green light. This new 10, he stays back in the timber for about 30 minutes and just showing his dominance, because he is the old man on the block. 30 minutes of that, he finally makes his way in.
Map.
No.
Map.
Contact, mister. How bad, Cody? He wore us out. Oh, we did it. We did it. Oh my gosh. We have contact. Thanks, you son. I love you so much.
Hey, Shane.
Oh yeah, Shane. What a treat. What an afternoon. Oh my gosh. We had deer within 5 feet of us all the time.
Joe?
We have contact, mister. Yo, wow. He's an old warrior. Oh, what an... Oh, there he is. I think that's him. Hold on. That's still him. It was a good shot. He's still at like 75 yards.
You still see him?
Yeah. I've got him.
Is he down?
No. It was a great shot. But it was a perfect shot.
Standing there? Is he
Yeah.
standing there?
Yeah.
See any blood?
I'll call you right back.
Okay.
All right. Shot him low back. There's a deadfall over there. I believe he's under it. So we're gonna go up, have supper, let him lay, and come back.
My dad thought he saw him bed down, so I say, that's great, we'll back out, go look at DeerCast track to see how long we should wait. You know, it confirmed that it was probably liver and or stomach. You know, I know it's hard to wait overnight, but when it's first finding a deer or not, you take DeerCast track's advice and you wait.
Pretty bloody, look right there. He was going just like this. Someone was in work and doing a little overtime last night. Yeah,
right there.
that's right where I saw him last night.
Is that where he was at?
That's where he was at, I'm telling you.
And there he was in his bed. Thankfully, no coyotes got to him. He was still warm, actually. So he died early that morning. So pumped we found him.
This is one I won't forget for a while, that's for sure. You know, I keep saying over the years, I sure won't forget that hunt. Well, you kind of do forget.
Well, at your age, Dan.
Yeah, I know. I mean, an old man
things.
hunting an old buck. I mean, really, come on. Look at the nose on that thing. Look at the body.
He's got the Elan fur up here.
Yeah. I call it the Elvis look.
Old man like Dan.
Yeah.
Old man hunting an old man.
That's right.
But she has no teeth.
Thank you, Shane. I appreciate it,
Congratulations,
man.
man.
Yeah, man. Give me a hug. Thanks. That's awesome. Yes. Great. So DeerCast gave us a great prediction of what the weather was going to be for deer movement, and it was spot on. The cool thing about it is we were right by the bedroom. They stay within about 200 yards of where we were. We had him at 5:30 show up, plenty of daylight, great footage, and you know, the Mission Sub 1 did its job with that rage in the cage. He was not but 50 yards from the shot this morning because we did not bump him. It was a little bit of a liver hit, but it all worked out. Hey, you know, I got to thank Shane for allowing me to come to his beautiful property. And what an afternoon. It's an experience that I won't forget for quite some time. Look at that, no teeth. I can kind of resemble that. Contact.
Contact indeed. Congrats, guys. Always fun to watch the Thurstons do what they do best. All right, I think next up on Deer Season 21, we're gonna join back up with Forrest and Old Man Winter. I think they're getting prepared for Winchester's Deer Camp. It's time to get even, and they might be heading to Illinois. So look forward to those episodes up next on Deer Season 21.
Well, standing here next to the back-to-back morel target, and because we do so much traveling and we go from farm to farm, you know, it's not uncommon to set this thing out wherever you want to in the yard. Well, the old adage, aim small, miss small, may apply. And on this thing, because on this end, these dots are all so much smaller, stay in tune all season long and try and start targeting these smaller dots. It's made of the Flex Back self-healing foam, which is one of the most impressive targets I've seen as long as we've been doing this, and I'm talking decades. So this is the absolute greatest target we've been around, regardless whether you're shooting practice tips, mechanical, fixed blade, it doesn't matter. Give this one a try. This is one I think you'll be impressed with.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of Deer Season 21 is brought to you by MOTV. For access to all our Drury Outdoors TV shows, head over to the MOTV app today.